Welcome back, everyone, to our gameplay series of Pure Farming 2018. So we're here first thing in the morning. I've actually fast forwarded the time a little bit just so it can be a little bit brighter outside when we're doing all this stuff instead of quite so early in the morning or just after midnight when things actually take place. And you can see I fast forwarded a couple of days. We're now on day 10 and we are ready to sell some animals. So I've mentioned in the past that at some point we're going to actually leave the cows around long enough to produce some milk. I'm planning on doing one more quick sale of the animals, just trying to raise some money as quick as we can here. And then next time by, if things go according to plan, we have the type of income that I think we're going to have, then I plan on leaving the cows around for a good bit longer so that we can get some milk production going. So if we take one more look at this, you can see we got 15 more days, so we got plenty of days to let these cows. We probably won't let it go quite that long. I'll need to do a little bit more research for exactly how long the cows can go before they become old cows and then aren't worth as much. It may be 15 days, or the 15 days may be until they actually die. So I'll have to do some checking on that. But regardless, we're going to have several days where we can actually get some milk production going, and hopefully we'll be able to do that next time. Again, as long as our income is where I think it will be, we shouldn't need the quick income any longer. It's always helpful, but I do want to get into seeing how much money we can make off of the milk at some point. So let's go ahead and sell off the cows. Let's also go ahead and sell off our pigs while we're over here. Okay, there we go. So now we get our money. Once again, the fodder is only down to 66%, so no real reason to do anything with that. It's going down somewhere around 20% each time. And let's go ahead and spam that button and get our 45 cows back in here. So our passive income at this point from our renewable energy is about $2,100. I forget exactly what it told me it was. We could always go in to the tablet here in just a moment and check, but it's around $2,100, I believe, at this point. So we're gradually increasing that as we go along. And let's head over and take care of purchasing our animals. So $65 a piece. The upgrade to $40,000 is really what I'm interested in, because I want to get the pig style really upgraded so that we can get maximum income from this, and then we'll start branching out into some additional things. Here, we could get by without repurchasing the fodder this time, but let's go ahead, and I like to keep it, since it's so close to 50% each time as far as the usage goes, I want to make sure we keep that at 100%. So now if we come back in, let's take a quick look at our statistics and our renewable energy. So right now we have 6 turbines. We had gotten 5 a few videos ago, all in a row on that hillside, and then this last time we went ahead and purchased one that was near the orchard we recently picked up. So we have a total of 6. We have one set of solar panels, and it says daily profit is $1,200. It's actually more than that. Oh, that's the wind turbines, $1,200 there. There we go. And then the solar panels, $960. So yeah, we're over about $2,100 at this point off of renewable energy. So of course, one of our goals is to continually expand that as well. Oops, one more thing I wanted to check out while we're in there. Back on our notifications, I have gone over and checked our orchards as well. The water level is very high, and we still have 100% in the water storage. So that is great. So I guess the key for us is we don't want it to rain, because the rain takes all of our water out of storage. As odd as that sounds, that apparently is how the game is working for now. So the orchards are looking great. We've now reset everything on our animal side of things. And now we'll cut here and we'll come back when it's time to take care of the orchards. All right, we're back, and as we pull up our tablet, you can see under notifications, it's time to make some money. We need to get busy on these orchards and sell off our crop so that we can make this cash flow and get our next purchases or upgrades happening. So we're going to start out over here with our 2 orchards and take care of those first. we'll head straight over to the box here. I want to get close enough and see. Oh wow, the water storage in 1 day completely went to zero. So apparently what it's doing is it's just decided that your water storage automatically becomes zero every time there is a harvest. Okay, so good to know, because the day before it was at 100. So that is a very quick. So now we know what's sort of triggered by the harvest mechanism in the game. But that's, of course, no big deal. That's just a little bit more time we spend on the maintenance and upkeep. But other than that, no big deal at all, because the water itself doesn't cost us anything. We get that free of charge. So not only does it not cost us anything, we begin the game in free mode, already owning all of the water storages. So no worries with even having to purchase those. Okay, ready for our first delivery. And let's see, if memory serves me correctly, this is about 13,300, something like that. See how close I am on my memory. $13,352. I'll take it. So I'm going to be very interested to see what sort of yield we get from our harvest on our newest orchard. We already know what to expect on our first two orchards that we purchased, and I do not expect the yield on our newest orchard to be the same, or even really close to the same, simply because there we go. Simply because of the cost difference in purchasing these. The two that we started off with that we're here emptying now, those were considerably more expensive than the future ones that we would purchase, particularly on this map. Now we move over to some of the other maps with some different crops, whether you get into the coffee or whether we're talking about wine or olives or what have you. Those are definitely some different pricing. But for now, most of the orchards seem to be around $45,000. 45 to 50 anyway. Okay, let's get our second full load. Another one of the things I have seen that happens with every harvest, and you guys don't get to see it on camera, but as I fast forward time and sleep through the night, one of the things that happens about halfway through the cycle, the harvest cycle, is that I get a message that says that 2 pounds of pears have actually wasted away from orchard number 1, which would be the one that we have just emptied out. And that is odd, because every time we get done with the harvest, it says that, well, we're done. We've gotten everything that we can from that harvest, and yet somewhere there's 2 pounds that we are unable to get. And we know it's not because our trailer is full, because it's never full whenever we do our last pickup and delivery. Oh, did we just hit that sign again? We're nowhere close to that. Surely the hitbox isn't that far off. I know we've hit it in the past in one of the videos, and we weren't even that close to it, but surely we were well away from it that time. So I'm hoping that we didn't actually hit it. It seems to be resetting itself, though. All right, there we go. Delivery number 2. So things so far are going according to plan. Each harvest we're able to make more and more money because we're able to expand on our income base, whether it's renewable energy or purchasing more orchards or as we plan to do here shortly, upgrading our pigsty before we look at purchasing additional cow barns and pigsties and so on. Then, of course, there are more orchards to be bought and worked on this particular map. Not sure we're going to get to all of them, because what I'm trying to do is sort of work certain areas and keep our equipment in the same general area so that we don't have to spend a lot of time traveling around the map. And so we'll be looking at purchasing the sheds. Luckily, they're only about $3,000, and I think all of them are the same price. So that's good. That doesn't take very much money, and that makes it so that we can teleport both ourselves and our equipment across the map as needed. Okay, and of course, after we get done with this final load, we'll be heading over to our other orchard, and then other than that, I'll be doing probably most of this off camera, but I'll come back and I'll spray on this orchard as well as the others. And we'll see how much of that we do on camera. Again, just shooting for a certain length of video within certain parameters. And as long as I can keep it around that, I feel like that's a pretty good length, somewhere around 30 to 40 minutes. If it goes a little bit above or below that, not a big deal to me, but I want to try to keep in that general range as much as possible. So that's why how much of the field work eventually, as well as the work we do on the orchards and so on, that I actually show on camera will depend on how much time we're running for that particular episode. But the general idea is that the first few times we do any of the work, such as spraying or refilling the water tanks, that kind of thing, I want to show those on camera the first few times, let you guys see it and see how it works, how long it takes, that kind of thing. And then after that, I'll show them periodically as time goes on. All right, let's see if we hit it this time. Nope, looks like we missed it that time. Every once in a while, it looks like it sort of wiggles as we go by, and I think it's going to fall. All right, as we drive around, I can definitely see some of the effects of having turned down some of the graphic options in the game. I can see it with shadows very clearly. Also, some of the anti-aliasing, I can see differences there. In a lot of games, it's kind of hard for me to spot those, but those are generally times where we're moving around the map fairly quickly. In this case, our tractors aren't moving all that fast, so it gives you plenty of time to see all the little discrepancies and all the little things that don't quite look right. All right, so 10,682 for our final sale there. I'll tell you what, we can go ahead and do it from here. Let's go ahead and zoom back out on our map and click on our shed and teleport right over to it. There we go. It's interesting that once you teleport, it does disconnect what you have attached to the rear of the tractor, but it keeps the front weight on there, which I am perfectly fine with, by the way. There will be no complaining about that for me. I just find it a little bit odd that that is the case. All right, so we're up to just under 61,000 at this point, and of course we are going to see what kind of yield we get from this orchard. Of course, this is an apple orchard, so it's going to be a little bit different just from the get-go because of that. We'll see what the volume looks like. All right, do we get one full load? We do, and you can see some remaining there in the box. All right, so where we're going to sell is right there, and there are a couple ways we can do this. This time I'm actually going to use the road. You can see they've got that fencing around it to keep me from going straight to it, which is a thumbs up to the devs for making me go a little bit out of my way to get there, because what I really want to do is remove that fencing and be able to drive straight over there through the back door. All right, let's see. Nobody coming, I don't think. Nope, looks like we're good. So once again, we don't have very far at all to go in order to sell. And there you can see the circle there waiting for us. All right, let's try to take a big wide swing at this. Give ourselves the best angle to get out. Let's see if I did that. Yep, just barely going to work. They don't give you a whole lot of room to maneuver in here. Okay, so we know we got a full load. In the past, that's been about 13,300 has been the worth there. Let's see about the worth of the apples. And again, these values are all subject to change within the market of the game. Oh, 12,500. Okay, so a little bit less. And in fact, as soon as we get done with our final load here of the apples, we'll actually go in and take a look at that particular market and just take a look at the prices and see what's happened, because we're 11 days in, so we've had time for a few changes to happen if they were indeed going to change. So we've seen that the apples are worth a little bit less. Based on the same volume, they're worth about $800, I believe, less. Okay, let's see what kind of load we get the second time through. Okay, that seems to be about what we were getting on, I believe it's considered orchard number 2. The first one that we generally empty out. So that looks to be about, volume-wise, about what we get there. So it does look like the apples are a little bit less profitable at this time than the pears, which for our purposes, that is certainly not a big deal and really would not make any difference in my future purchase decisions. It would have to be a pretty huge difference before I would even worry or think twice about purchasing an apple orchard. We're doing this for fun, and the money we make just simply enables us to continue expanding. All right, let's try going in this way. But boy, they literally do not give you much room at all. It's almost as if they're expecting you. Okay, so a couple of extra $1,000, $2,500 there. But still, a very nice income for not a lot of work, because other than filling up the water, assuming it doesn't rain, that is, you have to fill up the water about once every 3 days based on the harvest, and then you need to spray after every harvest. Other than that, you really don't have to do anything with these orchards, and that is a beautiful thing. The only thing we've seen so far that takes even less time out of our schedule is dealing with the animals. All right, so at this point, before I get into doing the spraying and refilling the water, what I want to do is, we've got $76,000. So what I want to do is, first things first, let's head back to our truck, which we have parked over around the animals. And I want to fully upgrade our pigsty. So this will mean that both our cow barn and our pigsty will now be fully upgraded. And the pigsty, here we go, so that'll cost us $40,000, which is a nice little chunk of change to put out initially, but we've already seen that we're going to get our money back pretty quickly on this. So capacity will now be 20, so it doubles the capacity. Very expensive upgrade for double the capacity, since we only paid $25,000 initially for it. All right, there we go. Now you can see we have both sides finished on it. We need to now purchase the animals required. So now we're up to 20 piglets. And let's go ahead and max out the amount of feed we have in here. Okay, and then let's take a look at, really quickly, our notifications. All right, so pigsty shows 3 days, but now we have sort of a difference in the time between, because we actually purchased the original 10 piglets yesterday on day 10. So we'll see how all this works out. But I would imagine that tomorrow in game time on day 12, we would actually have, or maybe, I'm sorry, maybe day 13, we would actually have more to do and line up exactly with the cow barn. But we'll see. We might actually let this group of piglets go an extra day. Okay, and then there's one more thing I wanted to do, because I was hoping we would have enough extra money, and indeed we do. So I want to do one other purchase. Okay, and for that, we're going to head out, and we're going to head over to, let's see if I can get there. There we go. So right here on the side of the road, which is not too far from our shed down here, there is a pigsty. And so what I want to do is I'm going to put our marker right there, and there's actually also a shed right there, and then there's an orchard right here. So you can see how all this is starting to come together. And I'm actually going to purchase that pigsty. All right, so let's go ahead and get turned around here. We're going to make our way back around. So it's not very far down the road. So now we're going to get into where we're going to start to use, whoo, look out, where we're going to start to use this truck a little bit more. There's our orchard on the side that we've seen. All right, and then just off to the side of the road right here, let's see, let's actually go to the right hand side, since that's where the purchase option is. There we go. So we're slowly expanding our way out, and let's purchase this. So our capacity once again will be 10. That gives us $5,000 more. Okay. Now we need to purchase some animals, and once again we're going to spam this thing. There's our 10 animals. We have $4,800 remaining. And now we want to get all the fodder that we can afford. Hopefully it'll get us what we need. If not, then, oh yeah, we got plenty. Plenty. And still $557 remaining. So that will be plenty for us as needed for what we're about to do now, which is to begin our field work again. Okay, you can see we are not quite full. I'll tell you what, let's look at our notifications. So everything is good on both pigsties and now both of the barns. We've definitely got some work to do on our orchards. So yeah, everything is going according to plan. All right, let's go ahead and get spraying on our apple orchard. So it looks like time-wise, we've got enough to go ahead and get our spraying done and probably refilling the water tank, given that the water source is so nearby. And then we'll call it a video from there. So once again, we have further expanded our income, our daily income, or in our case, every 3 days. But we are getting farther and farther along, and of course, the way all of this will work is the more stuff we purchase, the bigger our income base, and the more money we will start making, and it all just compounds on itself until at some point you're making over $100,000 every time we do one of these harvests, and then over $150,000, and so on. So things start to grow quite rapidly once you get past the initial stages of the game. And that's all by design. You reach those economies of scale, and everybody starts to get a little bit bigger smile on their face as money starts to really flow in. And of course, that's where I was talking before a few videos ago about the amount of time that we're going to be able to spend on any one thing, and that's where it's going to really start to come into play. And we're going to have to, instead of just having all of our harvests on one day, then we'll want to spread some of these out and start having harvests every day. But of course, that will mean we'll get a little bit less money each day. But all of that will come with time. All right, for now, let's see, did we get that last one? Yeah, we got up to 100%. Let's try not to run over the things in game. Also, one of the things we'll need to do here before too long is we'll start doing some routine maintenance on our tractors. And we'll get a chance to see how much money that entails. But we'll try to do it fairly often so that the amounts we spend at any one time will not be all that great. Alright, so now we got a few steps remaining, because as you can see, we've got the wrong trailer for this. So I'm simply going to pull up the map and head our way back over, if we can get there. There we go. Head back over and swap out these trailers. Let's see. Nope, I was hoping I was going to be able to do that. Actually, it might let me do it. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. I thought I was going to get by with coming in there as a very crazy angle. But unfortunately, no. The game is not going to be quite that nice to me. Okay, there we go. Now we'll go back to the map. And I'm going to head back over for now. I'm going to go ahead and head over to our other orchard. Then I'll do the rest off camera. There we go. So spending a little bit of money in teleporting, but as I have mentioned before, I am more than happy to do that. Let's see, I can see nothing. There we go, pretty good guess. Okay, let's get our water storage taken care of. The actual water level itself was looking really good. I believe it was at 90%. So that part was great, and no additional work needed in order for these things to start growing. But at this point, we just need to add some more water in storage, and then hopefully we won't have to deal with these orchards again for 3 more days. And of course, at some point, I'm going to get around to washing off the equipment, but at this point, I'm kind of liking it being dirty. Makes you feel like you've actually done something. Let's see what our tractor looks like. Yeah, it's starting to get a little dirty, but I've seen them worse in the game. Yeah, that's actually not that bad. The wheels are dirty, but the actual cab and so forth don't really look that bad. Fenders look fine. A little dirt, but not too bad. Alright, let's take care of our water needs here. Of course, they'll probably use up this water immediately by turning on the sprinklers. Alright, but overall, let's go ahead and hop out. And let's take a quick look at our notifications. So we're in good shape now for orchard number 2, and I will now move back over to orchards 1 and 2 of our original purchases and take care of their needs. But of course, I'll do that to save time. I will do that off camera. For now, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for joining me. And stay tuned for more as we continue our gameplay series of Pure Farming 2018.